I do love that music. Thanks to Gary Austin. Gary the Fork Austin. Yes, appropriately. A good gardening nickname there, Gary the Fork Austin, for creating those intro titles for us. This is Get Out and Grow, the Monday night session with head gardener Lee McGrady and the Fresh Air team, Anna and John. How's everyone doing? How's Lisbon looking, Lee?
Oh, it's nice today. Nice and cool. Bit of cloud, a little bit of rain this morning. Perfect.
Okay, but glad to be back in the potting shed, right? Is it getting a bit chilly now?
It is getting a bit cold now. The sun's gone down again. But I've got my little neck piece on, keep my neck warm, and a little extra jumper. But I've seen a lot on Facebook this week from back in Manchester with the snow and the storms, so I'm not upset about it. Yeah, it's
it's been interesting, the weather over here in the UK. It has to be said.
Go on, John.
Yeah, because there's still a lot. Well, not down here in Devon anyway, I don't think, but there's still a lot of places further north, in like the north of England and in Scotland, that are without power.
Proper England.
It might be Wales as well, but yeah, obviously, it's rather interesting, isn't it? It was really horrendous on, I think it was Saturday night.
I saw a video on Facebook. I saw a video on Facebook of a wheelie bin. It must have been 30 foot in the sky. It was flying like a kite. It looked brilliant.
Really?
Yeah, a big wheelie bin in the sky. Yeah, it looks excellent.
Now, normally, Lee, you don't see things like that until you've had about 10 Superbox, do you? But it says actual wheelie bins in the sky. Right.
If I can find a video, I'll send it to you. It's well worth a watch. It's hilarious.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. People are sending pictures in already. We've got some citrus action, which is really important, obviously. We'll come back to those. Come back to you, Anna, with those questions as well. How are you doing, Anna? How's the weather treating you?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It was pretty chilly. I think it was definitely yesterday. I think on the smart speaker I saw, I think it actually went down to -1 at one stage. So it was pretty chilly, and yeah, it did have some slight. I think it was possibly from the storm that came and went. I think the weather did get a little bit wild at one point, but it seems to have. Yeah, sort of cleared over pretty much, and yeah, still lots of leaves coming down, and yeah, just getting dark really early, and yes, winter sort of coming into force now, I think.
Amazing. Well, take care of that, and because I want to come back to Lee. And did you say you had a neck piece on?
No, a little neckerchief thing, a
neckerchief. Okay,
little snuggie.
A snood. Okay, this is interesting, Lee, because this is what people need if they're going out in the garden. So I think we should touch on suitable and appropriate attire in the garden, like the body warmer, like the snood, like the muffler, like the woolly hat. These things are really helpful, aren't they? And can help people stay warm and enjoy the garden, rather than my first memories of taking my little lad tree planting, where it was just so miserable. That stays with kids, doesn't it? If they have a bad time in the garden, I think it stays with them. So we've got to make sure you've got the layers on and to wear the appropriate things. Not jeans. Never wear jeans in the garden, right? Maybe never. Summer. Okay.
No.
Okay. They're not good. Even though cowboys wear them, they're not good things generally, are they, for wearing in the garden? So we'll come back to that. So we have got some questions in. John's got an idea he wants to talk through as well. We've also got some people tuned in who we've not heard from before. This is fantastic. Tour and Travels, hi, how are you doing? We're great here. Thank you, Tour and Travels. And you say you're coming to Portugal next month to start your business in Lisbon. Well, tell us more. Lee's just down the road from you by the sound of it. So we need to know what you're up to over there. Let us know. And 1:15 in the afternoon in Pittsburgh in the United States of America. Fantastic. I'm actually awake to see you guys. Thanks for joining us, Suzanne. Really appreciate it. So what was this, John, that you had an idea, but was it to do with the winter as well?
Yes, it is to do with winter. I've just got to find the post now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, should we come back to you? Let's talk a bit more about this winter clothing in the garden then. What's your advice?
It's always wrap up warm. Lots and lots of layers, because you can take them off. Any sort of really big heavy coat gets in the way, and then you've nothing in between. I always wear a body warmer. I wear it in the summer most of the time just because I like the pockets. Yeah. Today I've got 3 layers on. and that's Portugal. In England, it could be 4 or 5 layers because you can always peel them off as you go. Gloves are an absolute essential, always, just health and safety reasons more than anything.
Yeah.
I like to wear a hat in the summer for the sun and a hat in the winter for the cold as well.
Okay.
Different, like I wear a brimmed hat in the summer to keep the sun off my neck, and I wear my little flat cap in the winter just because I'm a Mancunian and we wear flat caps.
Okay.
That's the opportunity.
Yes, well, when we have our own gardening calendar, maybe Lee will wear that. He might not wear much else. He might just have the old Mancunian flat cap on, if we can talk him into that. Okay, excellent stuff. And then thermal underwear is pretty good, isn't it? Layers on the legs as well to stop that miserable feeling, and not jeans because jeans get wet and rip easily and that sort of thing, don't they?
I left dog thermals in England. I've not worn them since I've been here.
Oh, really?
It's just no need. There's no need for it here at all. A good pair of thick trousers is all you need here.
He's definitely a northerner.
You might want them further up north. You soft southerners up north, you might want to wear them.
It's true.
We didn't. I'm not bothered with thermals. I wore them all the time when I worked in Manchester, and in Scotland they were essential.
Yeah.
And I got onto a Dutch company that used to make them. I found a Dutch company online that made really, really high quality ones, but I can't think what they're called now. It makes a big difference. Yeah.
There has been talk of thermals and thermal underwear in this last month, and what I'm looking for is the old granddad ones from the Waltons, where you've got the flap at the back that you can drop down when you need to. So I don't know.
Picture you in there. That's not an image. Not an image.
Sorry, mate, but I don't know if they're still in production. It does hurt when you sit on the buttons as well, probably. But we shall see if anyone knows where to get those from. The old grandpa long johns with a flap on the back. Probably a flap on both sides, in fact. Yes, a blustery weekend. Swept up leaves and branches, cleared household drains. Many don't clear them of leaves after a storm. And if it rains, there's a flood. So good housekeeping. That's the old-fashioned way, isn't it, in the neighbourhood, is to get those leaves up and just don't let them wash down the drain there.
I did ours. We've got a peach tree that overhangs the front of the house.
Yeah.
And the neighbour's got a big pine tree, and the pine needles get everywhere. And the peach tree has just finished shedding now. But I did ours a couple of weeks ago just for the same reason. We get a heavy downpour, and it blocks the drain up, and then you've got water coming over the top.
Yeah,
so,
then you have more problems. Okay, and you know, as we said before, you're always going to be using the leaf litter in your compost heap, so no problems there. All useful stuff.
Well, the grass hasn't been growing the same here at the moment. The grass is on it's at a slow point at the moment. I mow all year round it in Portugal. You get away with it. But today when I mowed the big lawn, I was pretty much just mulching leaves, and they're perfect for the compost bin. Once they've been through the machine and they've all been smashed up and chewed up, straight in the compost bin. Worked brilliantly.
Great stuff. Anti's here, Anti Sepanen, who we're used to seeing in the man cave from time to time. Benoit Toros, is there someone here who grows cacti and succulents? Well, Lee, I'm sure, knows a little bit about cacti and succulents. What you got to say about that, Lee?
Yeah, I've got 3 in the house, which I quite like, and I've ripped all the ones out of the garden. We don't have any in the garden anymore. There was a lot of aloe vera and stuff on the top of the garden, but I've got plans for that, so they've all been ripped out. But I've got 3 nice little succulents in the house. I quite like them. They're pretty to look at there. I can't think what the type is, what they are, but they're nice enough. And they grow really well in Portugal. All the succulents do really well in Portugal.
They do, don't they? And is the ice plant? Because I saw an article about ice plants. Is that strictly speaking a succulent? The ice plant?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'd class it as a succulent.
Yeah, it grows very, very well here, doesn't it? It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got. I think that's Khadija who's asked the question about the citrus. So that will come up in a little while. John, did you want to introduce your theme tonight?
Yes. Okay, I will do. I'll just go and introduce it. Now, why has that happened? Okay, so what I was thinking was, you'll probably, if anyone's on Facebook, they might have seen this post already. It's from about a week or so ago, maybe a couple of weeks. Because I meant to bring this up last time out, but me being me, I forgot. So basically, what it is that, you know, because it's winter now. That's a fact. I mean, it's just how it is, isn't it? Really. And where is the blinking post? I keep closing the group and then not being able to find the post because it's buried. Ah, here we go. So my post was on the 18th of November. So I did mean to say it about this last week, but anyway.
Never mind.
With winter here or just around the corner, what winter gardening tips do people have? So I did plan to read them out on the show last week. So what my mum said, Alexa Tewksbury said, who is my mum, protect tender plants from frost, obvious, and that we do actually bring plants in under cover, and also cut down the summer growth, obviously. And that's what you've been talking about a bit, Lee. I've seen some of the questions we've got, haven't you? Of in the ground and cover them with mulch. And I think you've actually mentioned that before, Lee. So we've got some good tips there. So I don't know if anyone else is going to make some tips. And you can in fact do that in the comments, because here at Get Out and Grow, we like to engage and we like to get to know our listeners and find out what gardening style is your gardening style.
Too true. Well done, John. Nice one. Yep. Please let us know in response to John's.
I have a little winter tip for you. I have a little winter tip for you. While the ground is still manageable, if you manage to turn it over with a fork and break the surface up a little bit, that lets the frost in, and the frost will get rid of all your weed seeds that you've not been able to get rid of over the summer period, and it helps break down the soil so it's not as compact next spring. So you can use the frost by turning the soil over now. Nice one.
And so, but that reminds me, Lee. Do you remember a little while ago we had this dig no dig thing going on? Is that
yeah?
Is that classed as dig if you do that sort of technique? And what would the no dig people say about that?
Well, I don't like the no dig people anyway, but
so
that's a digging, but it's necessary in your shrub beds and flower beds as well, in your borders. Just not just for the allotment, also for the rose beds and your shrub beds. It's good practice to do it in there as well. Yeah. Okay. Just keeps the weeds down.
Yep, well, good to be getting rid of those pesky weeds anyway in that way, isn't it? So there's a little bit of an advantage. Just you let nature do the work, or let the frost do the work for you. So yes, thank you for that. Thank you, John. Thank you, Lee. Let's go to you, Anna. And I think if I illustrate, I think you've got the question to go with these images, right, of citrus for Khadija.
Yes.
Rebel Mama.
Khadija's question, yes. So these are from one of many citrus trees. There's a lot of fruit on the tree, but all in the lower half of the tree, and most of it, the leaves have got sort of curly leaves, or the as it was described, white stuff. Do I prune off as much as possible, or wait for the fruit to get ripe? The big, huge oranges in most of the lower half of the tree. I did have a can't tune in live, but we'll watch later. But I see they are now tuned in.
Absolutely, yeah. Good evening to you, Khadija, Rebel Mama. So, what you got to say about this, then, Lee? The citrus problem.
Yeah, it's a mildew issue. It's quite easy to solve, really. You can make up a really simple mix of need oil. You'll Google it, you'll find it. You can make your own up.
Isn't it? Yeah, neem with an M.
Yeah, neem oil. That's it. A little bit of a pro tip though: jet wash your tree first. That'll knock all the loose leaves off. Spray it, leave it a week, jet wash it again, and then spray it again. That is like the best way to do it, because the jet washing, the pressure of the water knocks off all the affected leaves, all the leaves that are past the best. A lot of people tell you to hand pick them off and strip the tree, but on a big tree, that's a big project. So hit them with a jet wash; it works brilliantly.
Okay.
And also, I noticed on one of the pictures, she's got some really straight growth, where the branches are coming up straight in a straight line, straight off the. We have talked about this in the past. They need to be trimmed off. They're of no use to taking energy away from the tree. That's why she's got great fruit on the lower branches, and then the branches that are shooting straight up, they're like a sucker, an unwanted branch. We have talked about it in the past. So probably not at this time of year, but in the spring when all the fruits are off, to get in there and go through. And like I always say, start in the middle and clear out a little bit to allow the airflow to move in. And one other little tip: the fungus might be related to watering the tree at night or very early in the morning. If you've got a water system, adjust it so it's only working now in the middle of the day, just for a few minutes, because the humidity caused by watering late at night or watering early in the morning helps mildew to develop. So change your water system and give it a jet wash.
Very good. Excellent stuff. That's for all you citrus lovers, because that's very, very ubiquitous, the citrus here in Portugal. Supplementary to that, Lee from Rebel Mama. Lee, I put lots of black plastic down, and I think it's killed the weeds. Should I do what you just mentioned and turn the soil as well at this time of year?
Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
By turning the soil, you're exposing the roots, and the frost just destroys the roots of the weeds. It also destroys the seeds that are just under the surface. So as you turn it over, you break it all up, you expose them. The old roots from last year and the seeds that are about to start germinating. So more in London, Portugal, or if you get heavy frost up north, or even just the other side of Central, they get good morning frost in there as well.
Okay, and will it get rid of these characters as well? Can you see that? This camouflaged slug. I've never seen one of these before. It got sent into the morning show this morning. That is a scary looking slug with almost like, I don't know if it goes faster because it's got leopard skin. Yeah, it's a beauty. But what is it? Have you seen anything like that before?
I think you got it right. I think that's what they call them, something like a leopard slug or a panther slug. There's a name for them, and it's related to cat, one of the aggressive cats. I can't think what, but some slugs actually kill other slugs.
Okay.
So that could be a slug. That could be a good slug.
Could be, couldn't it? Tastes like chicken.
So there are some slugs that you don't want to kill because they some people, you could do. I imagine they do. I've ate quite a few slugs in the past. I mean, you can't help it. You hit them with a twig, it flies up in. It's not.
You're breaking up a bit there, Lee. We've got a little bit of a difficult signal with you tonight, but we got the gist of that you occasionally eat slugs, it can't be helped. And that this guy might be a useful one because he might eat the wildebeest gazelle slug. Maybe they work in gangs as well. Go on, John.
I've just come up with a good sort of gardening / farming safety tip. Which was related to this turning the soil over that we were talking about in a way. So it's turn the soil over is a good thing, but don't turn the tractor over. Because obviously, I thought that was a good, fun safety tip, to be honest, and something that everyone understands.
But as in, don't turn the vehicle over on its side.
Don't roll it, basically.
But that said, turn the engines over of your machinery in the winter.
Well,
just every now and then, maybe every month, just start the engines so they don't seize up. But very good, John.
Yeah, but excellent. Don't roll it over, obviously.
Don't roll it over. Terrible thing that can happen in the garden there, especially on some of those slopes that we get here. Thank you for that, John. We'll come back to you in a minute, Anna, for the second question that I know we've got in, we have Eric here.
That's
Go on, Lee.
actually not a bad.
Go on, mate.
Just good. Actually, turning your machines over in the winter period, your lawnmower and the stuff that you don't use so much in the winter, it's just good practice because it keeps you from seizing up and getting lucky. So back in the UK, hold my lawnmower once a month, just let it run for 10 minutes. So yeah, it's good practice.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Eric's here tonight as well. Boa tarde, todos from Eric, who enjoyed Saturday's stream. It was great to have your company on that, Eric, and appreciate a few of the things you said. And you, Lee, you were there as well, weren't you? John, we do gardening. The natural compost to alter the pH, harvesting rainwater, ploughing weeds in the soil as natural compost. Okay. He's not afraid of a few weeds there. And a question for you, Lee, from Eric. We have about 30 maize plants growing pretty good, plus or minus 2 meters high and healthy. But since a week ago, they have some black small insects around the cob. So what sort of pest is that on a cob?
Yeah, no, it's just big. And if you don't get rid of them now, they'll destroy the crop. You need a decent insecticide. No, it's quite serious. We've had them on our first crop of corn here a couple of years ago, and I've been with them ever since. So, go to your local agricultural store; they'll have the right product in for you. It's stocked widely here in Portugal.
And this is a pesticide that you're still going to want to eat your corn after you sprayed with this stuff, are you?
Yeah, it's only a light pesticide, but you've got to do it. It's more insecticide, actually. It's an insecticide, not a pesticide.
Okay.
But yeah, they will destroy the crop if you don't deal with it straight away.
All right, Eric, get in there quick, mate. Another one for you, Lee.
Take a photograph.
Yeah, let's send a photo in, definitely, Eric. Yeah. Do you happen to
take a photograph with you? If you take a photograph with you to the store, they'll give you the
great idea.
Right.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah,
but it is that common. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a beetle. I think I heard Lee saying there because we've got a bit of a broken line from Lisbon tonight. But yeah, a beetle of some sort, and that's a great tip to take the picture of the beetle to the store, so they'll know exactly what to do with it and how to deal with it. Lee, all the trees on the property have been neglected and have all those straight sucker branches that you mentioned before. No water system, haven't been watering at all, but thank you for the mildew tips. Great stuff. And thanks for the tip. Do you know the name? It was a beetle of some sort, right, Lee?
I don't know the actual name of it, but it's like a really small beetle bug. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks very much like a miniature ladybird, but they're really jet black. They go yeah.
Okay, mate. All right. So we go back to Anna, please.
I haven't got any photos or any dimensions to go by for this next question, but this one is from Zola Madeira, and it's a Bougainvillea question. Has 3 small potted Bougainvillea. How to overwinter them? Never sure about watering. Also, which is the best way to take cuttings?
Oh, I do like the Bougainvillea, although they make a bit of a mess when they start to shed the flowers. So I bought 5 this morning from a customer. So overwinter them, they should be fine left outside. You've no need to bring them in or concern yourself with them. They'll be grand outside. Pruning them, if they're in pots, then she's going to be pruning for shape and size, I imagine, and they can take quite a hard prune. You go a bit crazy with them. You can hack them right back. they're not afraid to be don't be afraid to be harsh with them. And taking cuttings, they actually grow quite quickly from any kind of cutting. Just always go above an old, cut an angle, and actually try setting them in water. If you've got a nice vase in a nice vase, or maybe a 2-litre bottle of water, top off it. Take a long cutting as possible, maybe a foot and a bit, a diagonal cut on it, and pop that in the water. Leave it to 6 or 8 weeks. You'll start seeing a bit of fluffy root system on it. Then it can go into some decent potting compost. And it should do fine. But they're quite easy to propagate, and they're quite easy to excuse me. No, it's gone. And they're quite hardy, so you can leave them outside. It's no problem.
Yeah, so beautiful though. Look at all that colour there. It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, we've got when we first started on this garden here, didn't have much protection on the front fence, so we planted 8 or 9 Bougainvillea. They really do make a great barrier, and they're quite pretty. Yeah.
It's a good all-rounder then, isn't it? And also, I've noticed, I actually picked up a Bougainvillea flower in our kitchen that the kids had picked a long time ago. So it makes a nice confetti plant or potpourri plant as well, doesn't it? With the flower.
The flower keeps its colour a long time, and it's almost like paper. It is almost like confetti. Yeah. But if you get, some of my customers have huge ones. You're talking, in excess of 20 foot high up the side of the house. And when they start to shed the flowers, they're a nightmare to pick up and sweep up behind.
But I think you alluded to it. They're quite good for topiary as well, aren't they? You can shape the Bougainvillea bush quite well.
Yeah, you can shape them really well. You can prune them quite heavily, so be kind of, and they grow quickly, so you get a quick result with them. Even after they've been heavily pruned, they'll shoot back. Yeah,
great stuff, excellent. And when you said cuttings, there, do you need a rooting hormone compound on there when you stick it in the soil?
No, because I would start it in water. I wouldn't put it straight into the soil. I'd start it in water for 6 to 8 weeks. I'd put it in a little, just a little plastic pot, any sort of vase. Just take a cutting and pop it in the water and let the roots develop in the water, and then you go into a decent potting compost. Yeah.
Is that the difference then, Lee? You only use rooting compound when you plant straight into soil?
No, the rooting powders, it's okay. I tend not to. People use honey instead. Just
yeah.
But when I was at uni, everything had rooting powder on it. We put everything got dipped in rooting powder first. But I tend not to do that. I just try and do it in water or do it in a moss, in a damp moss bed. It works just as good. Yeah.
Okay. And we heard a little hack there, I think, because you're breaking up a bit, but honey is one way of dealing with it. Honey's a wonderful compound, isn't it?
It's fantastic. It's great for everything, isn't it? Yeah. Honey stops any sort of bacterial infection or any sort of wound that you've opened up on the plant. You can smear a bit of honey on. Works brilliantly. Yeah. Apparently works well. It works well on the skin as well. If you do the same, if you've got a cut on your skin, you can put a little bit of honey on it. Yeah, it's meant to be a really good cleansing.
Yeah, it's true. When our little dog, she had a really difficult time with some puppies and had to have a big load of surgery. When I was briefed by the vet what to do in her aftercare, they taught me how to change the dressings, and they gave me a pot of honey to put on her belly, which I thought was amazing. I didn't think you'd get that from a vet, but that's what they gave me. It was superb.
Yeah. I can believe it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Rebel Mama, wow, I didn't know you could grow Bougainvillea from a cutting. I love them, and I have had them. They do love to spread, and they are pokey but gorgeous. What a great review of the Bougainvillea there.
The reason we put them on the front fence is because they're pokey. They get ferocious long spikes on them. You won't want to climb. You won't want to climb through one. Yeah, no, they're great.
Good security too. We have a cherry tree. which has lost all its leaves from Eric. Is this because of the winter or because it's dead? How can you tell the difference?
Oh, it's because it's winter. I've just bought 2 new cherry trees for the garden here, and they've come in a dormant stage, no leaves on them.
Yeah.
The way you can tell the difference is if you go very gently to one of the branches that you don't particularly need or like, take your sharp knife and just dig into the branch a little bit, and you'll see inside under the bark. If it's brown all the way through, it's dead. If it's got a little bit of life in it, you'll see straight away. Just be a little bit gentle and don't try every branch. Just give it a bit. Give it a bit of a nick with your penknife.
Yeah,
and,
I see. I see you. You're nodding there, Anna. Is that something you've done in your garden in past?
I think I have. I'm trying to remember what in particular, but I seem to remember doing the that kind of test. I think it might have been when I've been possibly I don't know if I'm trying to think if it was when I was pruning a couple of trees or cutting a couple of branches off some plants in pots, I think. And I seem to remember the if it's brown, cut it down. If it's green, keep it to grow clean. So so I've gone by that, I think. So it seems to work pretty well. But I haven't tried that so much recently because the weather's not been too good lately. But I have given that a bit of a try before. Yeah,
so no question. I think with you, Anna, once a gardener, always a gardener. I think it's a bit like riding a bike, isn't it?
It is a bit, although I can't ride a bike yet.
It's not quite like riding.
Another little tip for propagating on your Bougainvillea, just thinking about it, if you've got quite long branches, you can peg them to the floor. So if you've got a long branch that comes off of a good 4 or 5 foot long, if you peg that onto fresh soil, leave it, it'll set root where it's making contact with the soil, and that'll do it a lot quicker. That might be 3 to 4 weeks.
Wisteria,
and then you can just check it regular, and then just cut behind the root system, and you'll have a new shoot with roots on it, and that's a little bit quicker. It's a quicker way of doing it.
Yeah, I noticed that with wisteria.
Wisteria, ivy, honeysuckle, they're all the same. They'll all go that way. Jasmine does it as well brilliantly. Yeah.
And amazing the difference the climate makes with that, Lee, because in wisteria in England is a very precious thing, isn't it? And like, be careful, it doesn't flower for 300 years, all that sort of stuff. It's a pest, isn't it? Wisteria, I've noticed, is like a pest here in Portugal.
One of my earliest gardening jobs, a very good friend of mine, he has wisteria all at the front of the house back in England. And it was my job to ship every year and trim around the window frames. And this is how far back it's going. When he got a satellite dish put up, the first year I went up, I cut his satellite feed. I cut the satellite wire, thinking it was a wisteria plant, thinking it was a fresh shoot. And I knocked the TV off for a few days. It grows like bugger.
Yeah, did him a favour there, I reckon. All right, so we're into the last 10 minutes of the show. Any more questions you've got, bring them in. Anna, shout out. John, shout out if you've got anything for us. But we've got this. Lee spotted this and had to buy it the other day. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. You know it's Christmas when these are in the supermarkets and the shops, right, Lee? What's this?
It's a poinsettia. Yeah, it's a traditional Christmas plant. Yeah, it's just... It was only a couple of euros and it was in the store, and I thought, why not?
They're very good value at the moment. I saw some, €4 yesterday, I think. And I think that people are divided whether they like them or not. It's a bit of a Marmite plant, isn't it? You wonder, I'm going to buy it as a present for somebody. It's going to go one way or the other. So combining last week's theme of indoor gardening and Christmas coming up, what could we do, do you think, Lee? I mean, we've got a poinsettia there to grow on, to build on. You've got holly that you can bring inside and make wreaths and so on. How can we light up Christmas, make Christmas really special this year? Because let's face it, it could be a bit challenged, but we don't need to let it be challenged quite in the way that some doom mongers are saying. What Christmas touches can we bring into the house from the garden?
Now, I'm not sure if it's a Christmas touch, but what I've done in the past, because I don't like wasting money on Christmas trees, I bought myself a nice house plant instead of a Christmas tree, and I've decorated that. So for the £90 that you can spend on a Christmas tree in England, you can get some really nice bargains on houseplants.
Yeah.
And I've done that in the past.
Oh, that's my fun gardening fact.
Holly's quite not holly. Ivy is also quite a good plant to bring in at this time of year.
Yeah.
I have some ivy now that grows outside my fireplace. I've had to move it recently with us lighting the fire. But that does really well indoors. It's an outdoor plant that does really well inside the house.
Okay.
Trying to think what else you could do. Oh, there'll be some berries out in England as well. Won't there be the holly will have berries on.
Yeah.
So rather than pruning the holly back, go for the variegated leaf, or go for the ones with the berries if you're making a wreath. Yeah.
So you could actually then using your ivy idea, is have a frame of some sort in a pot and grow your ivy up and over that into a shape, and then put some fairy lights on it.
Yeah, you could. It takes a little bit of growing the ivy to get it to shape. You need to start that much earlier than now. I have mine. The one back in England had a little a plant pot that was like a face on it, and had the ivy coming out like hair. Yeah, it was always quite nice to have in the house. I quite like it.
Very good. Go on, John.
John?
There it is. Just looking for my cursor so I could unmute myself. Because you'd never find it on the computer, can you? When you need it. And then when you don't need it, you always click on something accidentally. Anyway, yeah, so because we were talking about Christmas plants, I did actually post the other day about Christmas gifts for gardeners. Now, those plants that we were talking about, obviously, a good thing to get if you're looking in the shops or something. Yes, that's great. I also sort of thought maybe lots of these things aren't so good as the plants, to be honest. Let's get that straight up. But given that we have, or that there is a bit of a crisis on the lorry driver front, and lorries are very important, and lorry drivers are very important for Christmas and delivering stuff, I thought I'd post a good Christmas gifts for gardeners just a couple of days ago, because it gives people time to have a think, have a look, and do their ordering, and hopefully get it delivered in time by DPD or Royal Mail or DHL or somebody.
I always thought that wagon drivers had a quiet time in December because Father Christmas delivers all my presents.
Well,
True.
maybe that's true. Yes, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
if you've been a good boy, Lee, which I doubt.
I never get anything.
Call, probably.
There you go. Here we go. The Noche Buenas, as we call them here. Is that the Bougainvillea then? We have them in the garden. They're also turning red at the moment. I wonder if that's what you're talking about there, or the ivy.
Yeah.
The Noche Buenas. That's ivy, is it?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay, so yeah, I can imagine that some ivies are turning red though at this time of year. Okay, so what else have you got then, John, on the Christmas gift ideas for gardeners? And you made a very good point there, that I think most gardeners would rather have seeds or plants themselves rather than gimmicks or because let's face it, I think we've touched on this before. There are some terrible gardening gimmicks, aren't there? There are so many things that didn't work that have been sold in the gardening centre that seem like a good idea, but are now gathering dust and covered in compost at the back of the potting shed.
Yeah, there's a couple of things here. It's a bit varied. There's a Sow and Co herb garden. That's quite hard to say, actually, to be honest. Which I reckon that could be quite interesting. But there's I personally quite like it, but I'm not sure if you're a sort of hard kind of gardener. I'm not sure that this would be quite your thing. If there's a table light ornament that's a robin, so a light up robin, which yeah, I think I quite like it, but I'm not sure the sort of traditionalist gardener would be that interested in that. So it's a bit of a mix of things on this website.
There is one, isn't there? And given that we talk a lot about accessibility,
for buying. Yeah.
Go on, Lee. Sorry.
The one good tip for every gardener should be a diary. I always go back to it. Keep diary is so important. But getting a diary where it has the season changes and the moons and planting times in it, that's always worth a purchase. So any gardener should be pleased with diary.
Yeah,
A
very good.
Specific gardening diary.
All right, and then on the accessibility front, what about one of these? Because this you can use to sit on, kneel on. You can carry your stuff around in it. I think this is pretty good, actually, especially if you're getting a little bit sort of frail. For people whose mobility is not so great. This is a nice little mobility accessibility aid in the garden, I think. Would you rate these as well, Lee?
My mum has one. Yeah, my mum uses one. She's got multiple sclerosis, so she finds it difficult to get up and down all the time.
Yeah.
And it's quite good for a kneeling pad as well. You can reverse it and have it so you can kneel on the back of it, and then you can use what look like the base there. You can use the handles for pushing yourself up. So yeah, I think they're great actually for the right kind of person.
Okay, and they can withstand 330
Give me
pounds.
10 years.
Wow.
Well, no, I think the one my mum's got might have been £30, and it's worked just as good for several years.
Okay, no, that was in weight, mate, not cost.
Oh. That's ridiculous. Give it 10 years, Carl. You can buy me one when my knees are shot. You can buy me one for my birthday.
We'll have a little whip round for you. My wife got me a book for my birthday. It's great. John Seymour. Yes, that's a classic. That book must be 50, 60 years old. John Seymour's complete book of self-sufficiency. And that goes alongside Richard Maybe's Food for Free, doesn't it? There are some classics. And those two are two of them.
And the rules never change. For self-sufficiency and season, it never changes. That book never gets old. It's a cracking book.
Very good. Thanks for mentioning it, Eric. That's a great point at which to finish the show today. Thanks for all your questions. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Well done, Anna. Well done, John. Well done, Lee. Thank you so much. Let's play out with this, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. It's our closed session next Monday, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, and we look forward to your company then. So get festive at home, get festive in the garden, if you will. Send light out to the world as we light up Christmas and begin that. And we'll see you in December in the full-on festive period, and we look forward to your company there. 6:15 every second, third, and fourth Monday, and if there's a fifth Monday or even a sixth Monday, we'll be here there as well. But we take the first Monday off. Okay, take care. Bye for now, and have a great evening. Ciao.